I'm super excited to show you the next product. Portable espresso machines have been around for quite some time now, and even the ability to boil and extract your coffee in the one device is not that new. However, one of the biggest brand names in the portable espresso market has released a new device that is kind of a game changer. I'm talking about Pixapresso from Wakeiko. So let's check it out. G'day mate, I'm Ryde, your coffee coach, and I want to share with you my thoughts on the Wakeiko Pixapresso. And I've been using this for about a month now. Now, Wakeiko sent this to me to do this review, but my thoughts are my own. And I'll tell you what I love about it, what I don't really like about it, and then you can make the decision whether this is the perfect machine for you. Now, as I said before, the portable espresso machine isn't new, and neither is the ability to boil the water in the top and then extract it out the bottom. But Wakeiko are the leading manufacturers of portable espresso machines, and I, for one, love the Pixapresso. It's been my go-to for many, many years over every other portable device out there. Whenever I'm traveling interstate, international, even if I'm just doing a staycation and I don't have access to my decent espresso machine, I'll use my Pixapresso. But if you don't have a kettle, then the Pixapresso is kind of obsolete. However, I was fortunate enough to be in Milan when Cedric Gobbo was showcasing this machine, and he's the lead designer, inventor behind this machine, genius of a man. And I got insights into this machine that makes it so special and unique from every other machine out there. And you can check out that video here. And of course, if you like these style of videos and you want to see more like this, hit that like button, subscribe. I will think you're a bloody legend. Thanks a lot, mate. So let's talk about the Pixapresso and the features of it. Of course, right off the bat, you can see it's absolutely gorgeous looking. I love the way that it all fits together. And it comes in two colors, a Tuscan red, and this is a dark burgundy, which, you know, looking at it, it's probably more like an eggplant, but I guess the marketing team didn't want you to say, hey, check out the eggplant device I'm holding in my hand. So they probably went with dark burgundy. And I don't know if you can tell on the film, but it's actually got a little speckledy look here. I like that little texture. So rather than just a plain burgundy, it's got a little bit of depth to it. I think it's a good feel. It's a very solid machine. I like the feel of it. However, I do feel like it's a little bit on the slippery side. It does have that ridge there to stop it from slipping through your hands completely. But yeah, I think that's some of the bit tactile for me, but other than that, it's super solid. This is a little bit plastic on the outside, but actually the internals are really, really solid, and the battery is obviously massive in there. And that's what I love about this design, and same with the Pixapresso, is you don't need a separate bag to carry around all your extra bits. This takes care of pretty much everything. So in the top, you've got your scoop, that makes the scoop, and it also acts as the tamper as well. Very, very cute. You've got a small little espresso receptacle there. And this is where you put your coffee, and you can do two sizes. So you can fill it up with 16 or 8 grams if you want to do a bigger size coffee. I wish it could go a little bit bigger than 16 grams because I feel like 16 grams is kind of like the minimum you want in terms of when you're creating an espresso. This is more of an Italian traditional espresso. I feel like you can fit almost up to 18 grams in there if you grind small enough. One of the downsides is this is a pressurized basket. So it will create a lot of lovely, nice looking crema, but it's not a true crema. It's just like an aerated crema. And I feel like they could have used just a regular one, like the Pixapresso doesn't have a pressurized basket and some of the other devices don't. And for fresh coffee, definitely the pressurized basket is not necessary and does change the texture of your coffee. So the purists will be a little bit annoyed about that. You've got a larger cup, and this is great because I like to have long black coffees instead of espresso shots or Americanos for you US inclined people on the internet. And yes, I do know about James Hoffman's video on the Aerocano and how that's superior, but I actually think the long black, the way we make it in Australia, is actually the best way to make it, my opinion. However, I did take the Aerocano one next level, and you can't do latte art as easily with a long black as you can do with an Aerocano. Check out this video. In the bottom, you have a little dusting brush, which helps just clean out afterwards, which is pretty handy. And on the top, you've got your dispersion screen. It's pretty hefty. It's about 800 grams, 750 grams for the whole device. And it sits about 180 millimeters. So it's about 20 centimeters tall, which is not super large, but obviously the Pixapresso is much smaller, can fit in your pocket, literally can fit in your pocket, not in the case, but it saves you having to carry a thermos or other kettles or something with you as well. It holds up to 120 mils, which I love. I think this is probably my favorite part about it. Not my favorite part, but it's one of my favorite parts because I like to do a longer extraction sometimes, or at least want to have the ability to watch the shot and go, I want to just extract that last little part out of it. Some of the other ones that only go up to 70 mil really don't give you enough water. And the other thing I love about it is that inside it's got not only your millage, but also what coffee it does. So rather than just saying, oh yeah, this is an arbitrary 35 mil, it actually says this is a ristretto, and then 55 mil for your espresso, your 80 mil for your double, and if you want to go to a lungo, it can go up to 120 mil, which is the max there. So I love that. It's a large chamber for the water there. So yeah, I do wish you could get 20 grams in here, and I feel like I can push it and see how much I can get more out of there, but I'm pretty sure for my recipes, I like to go a bit more, like to 20 grams. So the biggest feature is the fact that this device heats your water up. So Wakeko says it can brew all your water in 180 seconds, but reality is that that's only under certain specific conditions. Also, that's including a 35 mil amount of water. So that's the smallest amount of water you can do in there. Whereas 88 degrees is the lowest temperature setting. So it does actually have 3 different temperature settings. So you're doing a lungo, it's gonna take a lot longer. I've found it's probably between 5 and 7 minutes. Also, if you do heat it from cold up to the maximum temperature, which is 96, then it's going to drain a lot more of the battery power. And if you do that from cold to hot several times, I think you'll be able to boil it 5 times out of that. Probably less than that really. So I've heard cases have been 1 to 2. I find it's about 3 for me before it's drained the battery. However, you put in hot water, if you've got a kettle, if you've got a thermos, you put in the hot water, then you're going to be able to get hundreds of times out of this because it's not going to draw down as much power. The battery is quite big. It's about 9,000 mAh total. It's 3,000 batteries in there, which is bigger than a lot of the others that are around 7,500. But if you're doing a day trip and you're just wanting to use this for 1 or 2 short coffees along that day trip, then that's perfect for you. It doesn't mean you don't have to bring that thermos. And also you could potentially have your water in a bottle heated up in the sun if you're going for a nice sun walk. So it's already half heated, it's going to use a lot less energy and going to make your coffee boil a lot quicker. But that's not all, folks. It can also do pre-infusion, which if you're using light roast coffee or fresh coffee is essential. And the fact that it even gives you 3 temperature settings, so you can use the temperature that's perfect for your light, medium or dark roast coffee, as well as all of those different lengths of coffee. This is a very versatile and convenient machine. And what I do love about it is when you turn it on, it has a little smiley wake up face where you can see there, it's touchscreen. This shows you the battery, that's volume on or volume off. It's touchscreen, so you can just cycle through the different things. You've got your temperature settings there, so you can do your 92, 96, 88. You can cycle through them. You can do it in Celsius and in Fahrenheit as well, so great for those people who just are using different metric systems. And then, of course, you've got your different coffees there. That's your espresso, your double, and your lungo. And then if you want to boil your water, or if you just need to use it as an extraction tool, you've got those 2 settings there. I used to think that was a little bit of a gimmick, where the cute little faces that it makes on there are actually not a bad touch. And the DB symbol, the direct brew, means that either it's going to extract your coffee straight away, or when you press it, it's got pre-infusion, PI, which means pre-infusion. Yeah, this is a waterproof, well, rainproof, so it's not going to get damaged if you're using it in the rain. But also it's got a little USB charger here, and that will take you about 2.5 hours to fully recharge if you've drained it. And of course, if you've stopped playing around with it, after a minute, it just turns itself off, which is great because it's conserving power for boiling your water. Now the pump pressure can get up to 20 bar, which is great, which is fantastic. And before someone in the chat says, oh, he calls himself an expert, but it says 20 bars of coffee to extract when you only need 9 bars. Yes, I know that for a standard traditional Italian espresso, 9 bars of pressure is ideal. But having 20 bars of pressure in your machine means that you can get that 9 bars, even if you grind finer. Now, a lot of home appliance machines don't have much power, and as soon as you grind finer, it chokes up the machine, can't push through the coffee, and you end up with a couple of drips or highly over-extracted coffee. So having the power to be able to push through means you can grind to the right size, fine enough, so that your coffee slows down and you get a nice even extraction. let's get it tested and we'll try it, and then I'll try it side by side with the Wakako. And I'm going to be using today the Ethiopian Guji, which is super delicious, super citrusy. I mean, these are heirloom variety coffees, so if you really enjoy that high end, this has got a 87 quality score on it, so it's super high and just so delicious, so florally smells, lots of citrus. Just absolutely love it. Perfect for black espressos. So let's give it a try. Now I actually can get 18.5 grams into that basket there, and there's still enough headroom in there for it to expand. We'll see how it comes through. But yeah, if you grind even finer, you could put in more, and because it's got such a powerful pump, you do run the risk of obviously over extracting. I think perfect for what I want to do. So I'm just going to use hot water this time. Whilst that's, so it's at 65 degrees, so we'll see how long it takes. At 65 is 2 minutes, so let's see. And whilst that's boiling away, get the other one started. So 18.5 grams. All right, let's pump this through. Okay, so this guy's ready now. Press and hold to extract. Come on. Now let's make a Pixapresso extraction and see how it compares. It's a lot more manual work. Speed through this one. This is an effort, eh? And now to try them side by side. So this is the Pixapresso. It has beautiful amount of crema. A lot of the crema from this one is gone, dissipated pretty quickly. That was a little bit under extracted, I believe. It seems to be a little bit on the bright side. Yeah, I mean, definitely more body, just a heavier, nicer mouthfeel, silkier. This one's a little bit more on the citrusy sort of side, so you get a little bit of overbearing sourness, but it's very close. And if I add some hot water to it, see if I mellow it out a bit. Pixapresso still ranks #1 for me, but that's still pretty close. And you know, for what it is, and for having one all-in-one, that's a fantastic solution. With the Pixapresso, and same with the Pixa and the Pico and all of these portable devices, is that they are a bit of a nightmare to clean up. They are messy and get coffee everywhere, but a small price to pay, really, when you are getting such great coffee on the road. And that's what it's all about, right? I mean, I will chop off my left arm if I don't get a good espresso. Whatever saves me from chopping off my left arm, I think it's a win. Okay, so what does this cost and who's this gonna be for? Well, they're pretty well priced. This is 159 US, which is about $249 Australian if you buy it in Australia. It's not the cheapest of machines. The Pixapresso I think costs you about 160, but the addition of having that boiler in there, meaning you can just go anywhere and you can play around with a whole bunch of settings as well, I think is worth the value. But you make up your own decision whether this is for you, and let me know in the comments below whether you think this would be worth it. And I believe they're going to be bringing out a whole new range. I don't know if this is true, but I've heard rumors out there that there is a Pixapresso version with a larger non-pressurized size basket, and maybe even a naked portafilter, so you can actually watch that delicious extraction in the works. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's official. I don't even know. I've just heard rumors. But exciting to know that maybe Wakako are bringing out a full range of these portable electronic devices to pair with their manual devices. And that's pretty exciting for me. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I'm Ryde, your coffee coach, and as always, enjoy your brew.